The opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Cable 14, its management, or its shareholders.
Back in town. Like Mac the Knife. Oh, the shark, babe. I want to talk to you about maybe bringing him back into the public eye right. We'll have a team meeting.
100%. It would be the best show ever. Man.
I think so.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, best show ever.
It is Hammer Down.
Let's do the best show ever.
Jay.
I'm Mike.
And this is a pleasure, especially being back to you on Cable 14 tonight and wherever you get your fine podcasts.
I was going to say, they had the name bars up there, and it was blocking out the view
of
this.
Sure, yeah.
What is all this?
We're going to open with...
Well, you gotta explain it, right? I mean, this is a bit of a flex right here.
Yeah, it's a first for you.
It is a first. It's very exciting, yes. These are Cable 14 Impact Awards, of which, and I guess we should say spoiler alert, because the award show hasn't been shown on TV yet.
Oh, well, it was your idea. I'm letting you run with it. Good point. Good point.
Spoiler alert. If you watch the Cable 14 Impact Awards on June 11th, you'll see Jay and I carrying out some hardware.
Making a few trips onto the stage.
Yeah.
Succinct speeches.
Yeah.
Some humorous.
Yeah, a little bit.
Some poignant.
We tried.
Yeah.
We tried. We were caught off guard a little bit.
Second time around was harder because it was unexpected for me.
Okay, yeah. You had a little nod on the first one. I didn't. I had nothing.
Yeah.
And then the first one was, okay, we said our piece, and then we went again, and it's like, oh, well, what do? Get up and repeat what you said, right? I mean, you're gonna, as you're walking down, bright lights in your face, thinking, we got to come up with something quick.
Yeah. Better not to tell them, the folks listening and viewing, what the awards are, but it'll hopefully encourage you to watch. But the first one that was presented to the audience was straight out of the gates, just like the Oscars. It was a big one. We'll say that.
Yes.
And the presenter was legendary local musician Tom Wilson, internationally renowned Tom Wilson. And I hadn't seen Tom in probably a decade.
Yeah.
And while I was a politician, he was railing against politicians, which, as a musical icon, that's what you do.
Sure, 100%.
You know, take the ills of your community and
shots.
expose them in song or speech or books. Beautiful Scars is still available, by the way. Anyway, it was so great catching up with him, but he didn't realize, as the presenter, that we didn't know already that we had won. So the first thing he said, we went out for a smoke, and the first thing Wilson says, "Hey, congratulations!" I went, "Oh, well,
he didn't. You haven't awarded it to us yet.
Yeah, I think he realized. The best part was, as soon as that award was through, Tom is a genius for exit stage left. He knows how to get out of every Hamilton venue quick and without incidents. So he had his SUV parked backstage.
I know.
And I mean, as soon as he walked off the stage, he was in that vehicle within seconds.
But
we, like morons, just followed him right out there.
We didn't know where to go, and we're following the guy who we thought maybe he'd been given some instructions. Next thing you know, he's getting in his vehicle going, "See ya, fellas!" And we're standing outside the theater in the back lot going, okay.
For a fleeting moment, Tom thought we were going to climb into the Cadillac SUV he now drives.
We were going for beers with Tom and our awards.
Yeah, it was nice catching up with Tom, but a lot of people, great people as well. The place was full. It had to be busier than last year's Impact Awards. And you get a real sense of the talent here on local cable. When you were part of this machine back in the late 80s, throughout the 90s and the 2000s, there were good programs. It was just done a little differently. The really good ones tended to repeat over and over and over. Yeah. And there's just so many good shows right now. And so we did have some competition.
And an amazing community spirit at the awards. It was at the Westdale Theater.
Yeah.
And so we'll just encourage you to watch the award show if you can. It's on June 11th, the Impact Awards, and I'm sure it'll be subsequently broadcast after that. But that's the night it makes its debut. And
something you won't see is the mayor's handshake. So Mayor Horvath obviously had some other chicken dinners to get to. She went up first. They did a little bit, actually. I must give her credit, her and Larry Deaney.
Yep.
They called out the mayor, and Larry pretended they were looking for him, and he had a flip phone bid he was doing. Yeah. Anyway, she's shaking my hand, And you know this show's making noise when, and the whole time looking and talking to you.
I know.
But I'm getting the Donald Trump. I'm getting this, and I'm verklempt. I'm not certain what to say, and all I said at the end was, "Hey, I'm a pundit now. You must be used to it."
Yeah.
So anyway, she's heard a few of the bits. They're not all bad, but she's heard a few of the bad ones.
It was funny. Well, and the thing is that I mean, her main point to us, shaking your hand, talking to me
the whole time,
was just that she just felt that maybe we were a bit critical, and I thought, I started thinking to myself, we have not been super critical of Andrea and the job she's been doing. I think we've been critical of council as a whole. I think we've called on some things to get done maybe more quickly or in a better way. But I didn't think we specifically.
I have on a few issues though.
Oh, right.
Not overall.
That's usually
I'm not giving a report card on a culmination.
Usually
of
the
efforts.
part where I tune out a little.
Well, that's the thing. And so I think somebody has shown her these bits, and you got all the attention, and I got the jerk shake, the Donald Trump like just wouldn't let go, and God bless her. She's dealt with the guys like us
100%
for 30 years.
It's funny because one of the things was
politics makes strange bedfellows. That's all I could think.
When you were away, and I was doing the show with Chris May. And I made a very strong case for the strong mayor powers. I was in favor of that happening, and so her and I are pretty tight.
I'm still on the fence. I'm still on the fence on that. I'm still on the fence on that.
You know what? Anyway, I don't want to revisit my excellent argument for why she should have the strong mayor powers. We can just move on. What else is going on?
Any mayor.
Buddy?
Well, I mean, still with local politics, good time to segue into our guest tonight is a rookie councillor, but a well-known Hamiltonian in the world of sport and business, Mike Spadafora from Ward 15. I hope, we got to talk about the Canadian Open. Maybe we wait and chat with Mike. He had to have gone.
Okay.
It's in his backyard.
Yeah, I did
he's
not
a hell of
go.
a golfer.
I watched it on TV.
Yeah, same.
I thought
I didn't go this year.
Looked fantastic. The course looked great, even on the soggy Sunday.
Well, all the grass looks good. And
It
front
does.
lawn.
Your front lawn
is
looks good.
as lush and thick as my hair in the mid '80s. I can't believe we're into June and it's not rotten in some spots yet.
It has been so the
perfect weather.
The watering has been just the right amount to keep it growing, but the amount of cutting you have to do.
Right.
Listen, I'm not complaining. It's
Have you
it's
played?
A small thing, but
have we played together? Have you played Hamilton? Golf and
yeah, I
Country
have
Club?
played it.
Okay.
We did not play it together.
Okay.
I have played it.
It's kind of cool if you have had that absolute privilege of playing that course. Once or twice, I've played it a number of times. Thank heavens. You pick the right lawyer, pick the right doctor, and make friends with them over the years. But when you watch the Canadian Open and it's at Hamilton Club and you've played those holes, you can almost yell at the TV saying, "This one's gonna go hard left if you've not played this green before."
No,
There's some tricky shots.
I got a little confused on the back because the back's been redone. But big chunks of it have been redone.
A whole lot of the course has been redone.
Yeah, so I recognized certainly some of the opening holes. I recognized 18. It still looks relatively the same.
Yeah, every sand trap is got the eyelashes now, which is very Scottish.
Yeah.
So congratulations to McIntyre of Scotland, the winner.
That's right.
But harder now to get it out of. And then, of course, all the greens now have the false fronts, and they fall. They didn't always have the mushroom top effect.
And we watched,
which makes it tougher for guys like you and me.
Well, tougher for us, but even tougher for the pros playing, right? I mean, a bunch of times it's like didn't quite bite enough off, all the way back down to your feet kind of thing. It's like that's tough.
What a thrill, though. I mean, Hamilton once again. We've had the director of tourism on the program before, and everyone comes together, including the plethora of volunteers, and it's just something special. I heard Don Robertson talking to Radley the other night. His wife was there for 4 straight nights. Radley says, "How come you weren't there?" "My ankles." He saw an opportunity to sit on the couch, and he took it. He ran with it.
He did.
But Donnie said that it was just amazing how many people step up to make that happen, and they're all working for nothing, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe now they're working for a possible chance to caddy a hole.
That's right. The guy out of the stands
if you're there,
gets to caddy.
CT Pan may need you. He goes through 4 around.
It was Fluff too, right? I mean, he'd been on Furyk's bag forever, but Fluff slipped and fell. the caddy for CT Pan, and so then a random out of the audience came up and said, "Do you need a hand?" And CT said, "Yeah, I do. I don't want to carry my own bag, man."
Yeah.
So that was
typical
pretty cool.
that Fluff would be involved in this. I mean, I don't know, Trav, if you got that, I sent you a little video of Fluff. If you want to cue that up, are you around?
Yep.
You with us? Yeah. So Fluff here is the caddy. Started with Woods, went on to Furyk for many, many years. Famous guy, 76 years old. Was it the third hole he took the fall?
Yeah.
This isn't the fall, but this is the caddy, and this gives you an idea of the character that Fluff is.
Here it is.
And this is the fellow that got hurt at Hamilton.
On the
Club.
downslope at all, Doug?
Well, Mark, he's just barely over the hill, so
How
it's
do you
not
check
quite
the
as
wind,
steep
Fluff?
as it could be.
Good drag on
For checking the wind.
Well, he's
I love
checking
that.
wind.
And even Woods looks at the smoke, right? Back in the day. The caddy.
I've never seen that before. That is awesome.
Fluff's the man. I can't believe he's still at it.
Thanks for playing that, Travis. And
Yeah, thank you, Travis.
During the break, though, these trophies now, they got some fingerprints on them and stuff, so I don't know if you'd be able to buff them up maybe during the break. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do.
Okay, thanks, buddy.
Mike had the idea just prior to air of the podcast and the television show to march out all the people that make it happen. I think it's a great idea. I'm not sure. I didn't follow up.
Yeah, at the end of the show, we're going to bring everybody out
got the
and
okay?
share in this hardware, because it certainly is not just two. You know what I was thinking the other day? Couple of dudes like us. I was thinking about us winning this award, and then I thought, we're very similar in some respects. Remember the two old guys on the Muppets who used to sit up in the balcony and just
I used to know
and
their
just
names.
chirp everybody?
One of the old guys.
It's like, I think that's who we are.
We've become.
We've become just two
Werner and-
get off my lawn guys,
Yeah.
right?
Travis, maybe a clip of those two old guys before we conclude things.
Those guys were always very funny.
One
so
of them, I
hopefully
just
we're
heard a
still
trivia
funny.
question. It was probably Radley.
Okay.
He and Kermit the Frog were the only two Muppets to be on every Muppet show.
One of the old
One,
guys,
but not
and
both, which
Kermit.
I thought was
okay.
yeah. Isn't that
Well,
interesting?
that's kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I wish I could remember the names of the old, but I'm an old guy. I don't remember the names of anybody these days. Statler and Waldorf.
Thank you.
That's
right.
awesome. Thank you,
I'm
Travis.
Statler. He's Waldorf. And welcome to Hammer Down.
Okay.
How is the? You got a virus, a computer? Is it like a cyber attack? Is it significant as the cities?
What? No, not
What's
as
going
significant
on?
as the. Well, to be honest with you, I'm mid cyber attack, so I'm not
Oh.
really sure what's going on. But it's
You're
actually
not opening these attachments.
No, it's our text chain, and
What do you know about that? You don't participate.
I don't.
You don't have to worry about opening anything there.
but I
Then
keep getting emails from people in this text chain, and they're like files to download, but they're too big to download, or it says download, and I won't press it. I would because
Right.
why am I? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
So I haven't. But the problem is the texts keep coming. So
Okay.
last night I got 5 of them. One from 2 from you. 2 from Steve, 1 from Paul, and it's always the same file. Needs to be downloaded. Press this to download. So something's infiltrated that text chain.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to just shut the whole thing down. I'm just blocking everybody,
That's
and
the
that
way
will
to do
include you.
No, don't shut it down in that capacity. It's like we're already blocked by you anyway. In fact, not exactly geniuses, those folks going after Mike's bank account. If you're gonna go after Mike, don't pick the text chain where he participates or the lack thereof of participation.
Obviously,
with,
you don't.
Us.
You don't know much if you think that I have any access to my bank accounts. That is my wife's purview,
that's
and
the
I
other
am not
thing.
allowed anywhere
That's
near
the other
bank
thing.
accounts. So.
Ward 14's Matt Spadafora. As a matter of fact,
His name's Mike, isn't it?
what did I say,
Matt. Matt, Mike.
Mike Neighbors
Yes.
or Waldorf, whatever.
Yes.
That's your counselor. So
Yes,
I'm sure
he is.
you'll have a few questions at the ready.
Mike Spadafora is
the
my
rookie
counselor,
counselor.
and there are a couple of intersections that need stop signs that I want to talk to him about. So
You are viewing and listening to the award-winning Hammer Down. I'm Jay.
I'm Mike.
And this program, we are very proud to say, for the second straight season, is brought to you by the good people at the modern Hamilton's most dramatic condo, coming very soon to the historic Gore in downtown Hamilton. You can visit their sensational showroom in the Royal Connaught or moderncondos.com. Modern Condos, proud sponsor of Hammer Down with Jay and Mike. and that's
No,
that could be a
no, I
problem.
didn't shave my ear hairs. Was the problem? I think that's what it's getting
it's
all
not getting
itchy
in
and everything. No, it's not fitting right in. Keeps sliding out. So it's like,
All right. It's
Then I
Hammer
just-
Down. I'm Jay.
hi, Mike.
Without the earpiece, so sorry to interrupt. With us now, Ward 14 Councillor. He's going to tell us in just a moment about some massive investments there on the west side of the hill, roads, parks, and a whole lot more. But first, let's get into either golf or hockey. Your call. Thanks for being here, Mike.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
And
Take
I'll
it
bet.
easy on me, okay?
I will.
Take it
Let me
easy
just
on me.
move your mic up
How's
just
that?
a little. There you go.
Better?
Now you start because this is your councillor. I mean, what's top of mind in the neighbor's household? You've got him right before you here.
Well,
Do you know how hard it is to get a meeting with this guy?
Obviously. Golf. Obviously, I want to know about golf. I mean, that's top
Were you
of
there?
mind with me.
Were you there
dropped
on the
in the
weekend?
Canadian Open?
I was there, yeah.
Yeah?
I spent
How did it
some-
look? How did it feel as a Hamiltonian?
I thought it was fantastic.
Incredible event.
Yeah, seeing people like just walking downtown, on Wilson Street and walking to the golf and country club. I think it was nice,
Yeah,
right? And I think it's one of the hidden gems that we have in Hamilton that a lot of people don't talk about.
Yeah.
So
It really is hidden.
it is
I
hidden.
mean,
It
that's
is
part of
definitely
right?
hidden.
I
Yeah.
mean, you drive right by it and not even know there's a
Absolutely.
pristine championship golf
Yeah.
course there.
Right, like spitting distance from the Silver City Cinema too, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's weird.
Yeah.
You get box stores just down the block.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of folks involved in Golf Canada, the RBG, Jim Nance, for God's sakes. I mean, everyone goes on about it, and when we're first one of 5 now or 6 that we've had. You think, okay, they're pandering, or they're a little over the top about how beautiful thing is because they're maybe never going to come back. But I sense, and maybe you do because you would have been rubbing elbows with a lot of those movers and shakers, they really do like Hamilton Club, and they probably love it, not just the aesthetic, but because, Mike, the players enjoy that layout as well.
Yeah,
Did you hear a lot of that? How much
I did,
the
and
movers and
and-
shakers were happy to be back?
I think that if it was up to the PGA and Golf Canada, I would think they would do a long-term deal. Deal with that course if they could. What I mean by long-term deal, hey, we'll come every 4 or 5 years.
Which is about what they've been
Which,
doing
yeah,
anyway.
I think
right?
5. I think we've hosted 5 since 2003.
Right.
So
Lock it in, you say.
I would lock it in. I mean, there's definitely economic upturn from having. I think we had 140,000 people
Right.
come through the city.
Yeah.
That's great for the local businesses. But just the concert, I was able to go to the concert for about half an hour on the Friday night. The Our Lady of Peace concert. It was just great. The atmosphere, it was. I think special for a lot of people, right? It was a good time. Our Lady of Peace put on a pretty good show, and yeah, I if it was up to me, I'd have it come back every 4 years.
Yeah.
So,
would
but the
be very
members,
cool.
the members need it. The members
Well-
got to want it, right?
That's the thing.
That's true,
right?
too.
Yeah. I remember Steve Smith, having a conversation with Steve Smith, Red Green, who was a member there, and he said, and he was just talking about he was happy that the tournament was when it was coming back in, I guess, 2018 or but he just said, you have to understand, we all pay a lot of money. And we are very restricted in our use of the facilities,
Yeah.
use of the course,
When
and
they're
the
setting
time
it up,
leading up
yeah.
to it. And so, yeah, every 4 years, you could probably live with that, right?
The other thing is, guys like Smitty and Jim Simba and Foxcroft and all those guys that go there regular, Spalacci, that rough gets thick.
oh yeah, it's not even enjoyable
When
to play,
they're
right?
setting
Yeah.
it up for the PGA stars, no, you get off the fairway, and as a member,
Yeah.
you're losing Pro V1s
Yeah.
like you're losing dollars at the casino.
Yeah, you want to bring a few extra sleeves when you're playing it right
Yeah,
now.
I'm sure the pros
so-
have no problem. I mean, it would have been great to see the local boy Mackenzie Hughes win, but
Yeah.
were you happy and satisfied with the conclusion?
I was
Who were you
waiting.
rooting for?
Oh man, so I was rooting for Mackenzie,
Right.
But Corey Connors, I started seeing Corey
That was
jump
awesome.
up the leaderboard right at the end. And I was like, this is good.
Very
Ask
cool.
Mackenzie.
Yeah, and I was I guess I don't know. I'll say it anyway. I was hoping a few more bogeys for McIntyre coming through near the end.
Right.
there.
It looked like it for a second.
You know, Perez made that birdie on 18
Yeah.
to get him one back, and I'm thinking, well, maybe a playoff.
Right.
Right. So,
Yeah.
but
that would have been fun.
That would have been fun.
Pretty
for sure.
cool story with having his dad on the bag too, though, and to win his first PGA
Yeah.
Championship event with his dad on the bag. That was a pretty good, good story.
for sure.
So.
And apparently, Radley was saying to me he was followed by a lot of local Scots. So
Oh, okay.
he had an
Awesome.
entourage going, right?
Right.
I mean, we got a lot
Right. I'm from Hamilton.
Yeah.
Local Scots.
Yeah. So yeah, great job. Pass along our thanks to Ryan. I know you work with tourism a lot. You sit on the tourism board among others, don't you?
One of the
You
subcommittees,
involved?
yeah.
Yeah. And the West Harbor Development Subcommittee I once chaired. You chair that now. You're also on the Waterfront Trust. What's your interest as the Ward 14 councillor on the West Mountain / Ancaster with our downtown harbor?
Yeah, it's not political. The reason I was interested when I became a councillor was because my family loves going down there.
Okay.
So when I became a councillor, I was like, well, now I can actually be a part of what's going on down there and hopefully make some decisions that'll allow more people to enjoy it. I mean, the Waterfront Trust, it's made it a destination. We go down there. There's the roller skate in the summer. There's the ice rink in the winter. Salsa night. It's crazy how many people go down there for salsa. I think it's Wednesday night. So that's what it was for me. My wife and kids, we'd go down there and have a good time and stop at Williams, grab ice cream, whatever. So
Well, I'm glad the councillors before you could lay the groundwork.
yeah,
To bring that environment. All you really need to do is the touch-ups.
All right, take
now.
your old.
is that why you opened up that one? All right.
No, I wanted to. My purpose was to congratulate you on the save on the roller skates. It seems like such a small thing. 3 weeks ago or so, I heard a lot from my North End friends, especially. The Waterfront Trust sort of announces that we're getting out of the rental roller skate game. You can still come and roller skate, and God knows a lot of people have roller skates, especially the ones that are serious. And you can still pump up the music, and it's still a fun time. But you couldn't rent for a couple of weeks there. But was it your executive director found a solution?
Yeah, so Christian Wiley, who's the executive director of HWT, is that right? Yeah, HWT, was able to find a company that now is going to, basically we've subcontracted the rentals out. So we'll still be able to provide residents with, the ability to rent and, for the beginners or people that are first trying it out, instead of having to go buy a pair.
Right.
Grab a pair of the rental ones. And the biggest issue was our inventory was, it's,
Dilapidated,
end of life, right? It was, and
Those wheels get worn down.
They do, right? And they,
A bit of a beating.
yeah. So it was good. We definitely heard the negative about the program being gone, but now that
So she went out and found an answer.
Yeah. So it's
like a food truck, but with roller skates. And
Absolutely.
Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. Yeah. I think that's what it was, or maybe it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But yeah, they can just go to the website
Now,
find
to
out.
flip on its head, kind of the way you posed the first question, right? So, as a constituent in Mr. Spadafora's
Ward 14.
ward,
Yeah.
I'm glad that my councillor is involved in the Waterfront Trust and is involved in that, because that's a jewel of the city. It's right. It's
gonna
for
be a
everybody.
huge
in the
economic
city.
driver,
I
too.
think that's a great thing to be involved.
It's a citywide asset. It's not
100%. No, it's
it's
not
not just for the downtown.
specialized there. No, I love going down there.
I had constituents for the 12 years I was councillor, and you'd get that question now and again. There was plenty of folks that lived downtown that were parochial. They didn't. This was their neighborhood, and I would have to bite the bullet now and again at these meetings and say, if there's a ward in the city that's for everyone, in pockets, right, especially the central business district, the waterfront, it's the ward you're living in. So it's not necessarily just for those who live
is a
here.
city.
And yet there were some that were bound and determined that's the way it is, and so you got to take your lumps, right?
It's a ward that everybody in the city, the majority of people visit.
Yeah, true. Or work at the
Or
9 to
work at,
5,
yeah.
or
Whether it's restaurants, whether it's the waterfront, whether it's the art gallery, like there's so much in Ward 2.
So real quick, because we should probably hit them with some hockey questions as well.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Because
load them up.
my Oilers
My
are in the Stanley Cup.
So are my pants.
Suddenly,
Oh, there we go.
you're a Boston fan.
I'm a Red Wing fan.
Oh,
I'm a Red Wing
right,
fan.
right. I knew it wasn't Toronto. So you're chairing the West Harbor Development Subcommittee. You're a member of a small board of councillors for the Waterfront Trust. What's going on in terms of that massive Pier 8 development? Is it right around the corner? What happened with that tower? Why don't you let the folks know? I think that was approved by council, correct? Is that going to be the first build of the 9 parcels in Pier 8?
Yeah, so the tower is approved, the 45-story tower,
yeah.
which I believe
Iconic.
Yes, Block 16, it will not be the first.
Oh.
There's a few other pieces that need to be built leading into, I think, Block 6 and 7 might be the first ones to go, where the more the mid-rise buildings, and then they'll move towards
The tower.
towards the tower. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah.
and any idea, ballpark, when we might expect to see? Because
Shovels.
the infrastructure, the city part is done, right? The roads, the infrastructure, and all of that.
Yeah, the majority of that's done. We're just, a few things that we're tweaking in the underground from a parking perspective, making sure we have some public access to underground parking, those sorts of things. But yeah, I think we're maybe a year away. I can't. I'm speculating, saying that it's going to be 12 months, but I think we're closer than we've ever been.
Yeah. Good.
I don't know. I think the market's always
Yeah,
always
yeah,
going to play
everybody's-
a part, right?
yeah.
Not just down there. It's going to play a part with it everywhere, right? So, but I think we're getting really close to starting to see some construction down there from an actual residential unit being built.
Big game changer.
Before we get into some hockey, I do want to ask you a couple of questions, just because you are a rookie counselor. Just looking back on where we've come from, the time you got voted in to now, looking back, maybe just give us one of the best things about this job and one of the worst things about this job.
So I would say the best thing about the job is working for the residents. That's the part that I find the most enjoyable. Even when, even if it's delivering news that the resident isn't going to be overly excited about because it's not the answer they wanted.
Yeah.
That interaction,
Yeah.
I enjoy that, and I've enjoyed that from day one. I would say from a negative perspective, I would say just the timing. Everything takes
So
a long time.
So
Well, you just were in the news
very
today.
long.
Yeah,
About
was I?
the woodland.
Oh.
You asked a question everyone already knew the answer to, but you in such a tone that they actually used it as a news clip, and it was the Woodland Park washroom. Can I just, on the record, how long is it going to take again? And you hear the actual ward councillor like, yeah, cheering him on.
Yeah, I was shocked.
is a
that
long
Yeah,
time.
Scott called me and said, "Hey, counselor, quick question." I'm like, "Yeah." Did you look at your face during Public Works as you were chairing when you heard how long it was going to take? I said, no. He goes, well, that's why I'm calling you, because you seem pretty surprised. I said, yeah, I was surprised.
So to your point, the slow moving wheel of bureaucracy can be a real pain.
Yeah, and
hard to explain.
Yeah, and Woodlands is, it's a tricky one. Obviously, it burnt down. Insurance is involved. Deductibles, the way insurance is. But even with that,
Right.
like, wow.
I texted Spalacci this afternoon because I was talking to actually Radley in the morning, and I'm going to try not to give away. He has a few premises. He's following this closely in the Spectator. Scott Radley is. I said to Rudy, 1.5 mil. What would that? You're a builder. I mean, a well-known.
What is that?
What
do we
does that
get
get you? And how fast? And he said you could get a 3,800 square foot home. And then he realized why I was asking, and the next text comes 30 seconds later, and he says, with 4 bathrooms. Yeah. He didn't say how long.
And listen, I'm not looking to throw staff under the bus.
No.
I think it's a combination
all-
of things. It's everything that's
What's frustrating, I know what's frustrating is it's so hard to explain, right? I mean, it's very difficult to explain, especially you have a construction background
Yeah.
where time is money. I mean,
Absolutely.
you were in a field where it was the opposite thinking. It's like as soon as we can get it done, you didn't have to deal with tender processes, insurance issues in the event of, everything legal, I'm sure.
Yeah. There's a lot more layers, right? When you
Yeah,
get
sure.
into it, and when you try to peel all those layers back, it's just time and time and time, and
It-
time is money too, though, right?
It is,
funny.
even with the city, of course.
Absolutely.
Because I remember having a conversation. I don't know if you remember this conversation. I had a conversation with you towards the end of your first term.
Okay.
And I said, kind of said, hey, we were getting caught up. I said, how's it going? And you go, well, I'm mostly benefiting from the work the guy before me had already laid into process, right? And now that you've been out for a little while, that counselor is benefiting from things that you had started.
There isn't a crane.
I know.
Ward 2 that I had
I know.
met-
So
started.
some of the
Oh,
work.
so that just didn't start in
No, it doesn't
I'm
just,
just
no.
Okay.
Sorry, sir.
I apologize.
Sorry, counselor. Yeah. But you'd be surprised how many take credit.
Yeah, oh,
I
well,
mean, I don't
that's-
get to go to the
that's-
ribbon cuttings anymore,
That's
but
it.
that's
yeah,
fine.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, some of the work you're doing now, a future counselor is going to thank
Yeah.
you for
And
laying the
I
groundwork.
guess I should thank my predecessor too. though.
Well, you know what? Terry Whitehead is your predecessor.
He is.
He, for all his,
Shenanigans.
in the end,
Yeah.
and during, there was a few Terry Whitehead
100%.
moments. He knows it. He was a hard-working counselor. He did a lot. He really looked after his constituents. And the votes the tallies for all those years that he ran demonstrates that.
Yeah,
right? Like
I don't
you've talked to him.
Yeah, I don't know that you could say that Terry didn't work for his residents.
No, you can't. There's no way.
I would say he grinded for his residents.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime, and sometimes to a fault, where he pushed it. Maybe he fought for him so hard that some people thought like, hey man, like you're kind of taking this serious. But for him, the residents, his approach was, if that's what my residents want, that's what I'm going to fight for, which I think is the right approach. And I try to take the same approach. And keep in mind, Terry, before Ward 14, you think of the size of what Ward 8 used to be.
Yeah, massive.
It was huge, right? So, no, I thanks, Terry, for all the work you've set up for me.
What do you say we get the elbows up and talk a little hockey, all right?
Love it.
So,
Let's do it.
as I
And
understand...
then, we got to conclude with a few things that are going on in Fort.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a hockey guy, right?
As I understand it, you're the president of about 12 hockey teams right now. I don't know. Lay it
Four
out for us.
organizations.
Four organizations
Yes, I'm not-
that you're continuing to help operate.
Correct.
And working in. And so it's the Kilty Bees.
Yep.
Huskies.
Hamilton Steel.
Hamilton Steel.
And the Hamilton Minor Hockey Initiation Program.
Hamilton Minor.
And
Hockey
Hamilton
Association.
Steel is the former Huskies, AAA, now a conglomerate with
The Junior Bulldogs.
So you're
Correct.
you're the president
Yep.
of the AAA. Man, that's a lot. And then the Kilties, Junior B,
Junior B, yep.
which is great hockey.
Absolutely.
You getting good fans support?
It's hit and miss, depending
Yeah.
on the opponent. Like Caledonia always draws a good crowd because there's a lot of local kids from our team, local kids from down the road. Playoffs for sure. But it's hard, right? You think of when I was attending Kilty Bees, they were Monday night games.
Yeah.
The place was packed.
Yeah, it was
but
traditional.
There wasn't a lot of. Now people are just, whether it's gaming, whether it's their own sports.
So many options.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, a million splintering, and even just getting the message out that the team's playing this night or whatever. I mean, there's getting that message through the filter, all the messages that are
There's so many options.
It is a lot. It is
so
a lot,
many
yeah.
options. But
Absolutely.
we get the we're happy with the support. We'd love more support, and I think having a more local flair on the team will obviously help. And John McDonald now is the new general manager of the Kilty Bees, local guy, been in the hockey scene in Hamilton for 30 plus years. Coached the Hamilton Red Wings when they were playing out of Mountain Arena. Owned the Glenbrook Rangers. So a good guy that'll be able to hopefully keep the local kids here, and that'll in turn build the support from the community.
Do you like your Panthers' chance against his Oilers?
Yeah, I do.
These Florida teams got to stop showing up.
Well, they know
like
they know where to
5
get
straight years.
their players from, right? But like
Right.
Brandon Montour.
Yeah.
So
Is that why you like Florida, Brandon?
Yeah, Brandon's one of the main
I'd love to
reasons.
see
So
him as a Leaf.
Brandon Montour, I coached him when he was 16-year-old. I was an assistant coach in Brantford Golden Eagles Junior B.
Right.
We didn't sign him at the beginning of the year. We signed a different 16-year-old who was a draft pick from London, and then we ended up bringing Brandon in around Christmas. Undrafted,
Wow.
was playing, back then it was called Midget in Cambridge, I believe. We brought him in at Christmas. and
Why him? Big, fast,
No.
great shot.
his
Vocal
feet,
father.
no, none of that stuff. His
How did he
feet.
get on the team then?
So he was playing so well in that midget league that we were like,
okay.
this kid
Was he a
needs to be
defenseman then, too?
Defenseman,
And he
and
could
his
skate.
feet were, and he played like he had as soon as he got there, the confidence was there. His feet gave him the ability to play, even though he's playing against 20-year-olds. Like he was as good as he is now at that. Like, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Like when he came in, he just took off and he never stopped. He just kept getting better and better, and he's logging 20 minutes plus a night.
Yeah.
On a pretty good team.
Love to hate that guy. I mean, I'd love to see him as a
Yeah, he's going to the Red Wings, but
We're gonna wrestle.
So what? How many games? Well, the Stanley Cup starts Saturday night. Edmonton. We finally have a Canadian team after 30 years.
I'm happy about that for sure. Darnell Nurse being a Hamilton boy, and
And they really are Canadian. 16 of their 20 on the roster are actual Canadian hockey players. Florida's got 7, I think.
Right.
So
plus I love Paul Maurice too, right? So
yeah, he's a good coach. I mean,
I
he
like
was.
Paul.
How long was he with the Bulldogs? Wasn't he with the Bulldogs
I
for
don't
a
know that
spell? He was somewhere local. Was he with the Leafs?
He was with the Leafs.
That's
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was with the Leafs. Yeah.
No, and he gives great press conference.
That's
He's
what I
one
like
of
too,
the, One of the
yeah.
best guys
Yeah.
at the press conference.
He's got good clips.
You know what? And you just hope for it would be a great series. I really have to say, I really think the Panthers are.
Florida in 6.
They just,
what do you think?
They are so tough, man.
I'd rather it's 7.
Just the way they beat down the Rangers. Rangers were a really good hockey team, and they just didn't even show up. So anyway, we'll see how it goes.
Well,
man.
so was Dallas, but things happen.
I know.
It's
Got to be lucky too,
long
right?
haul.
Got to get the
Absolutely.
bounces.
Yeah.
You got to get the
You need a
bounces.
hot goalie, and Skinner seems to be
He's
getting
finally
there.
getting a little better,
They got
yeah.
Florida's got a great goalie too.
They do.
Bulldogs heading to Brantford under your watch as counselor.
Sure, I'll take the blame for it. Why not?
You must know, Michael. Did that hurt you a little bit? What are you thinking 5 years from now when Hoopeg finishes that rink downtown?
Yeah,
2 or 3 years from now, I shouldn't say.
I'll
5.
start with did it hurt me? Always, as a hockey guy, disappointed that we lost an OHL team.
Right.
But if you look at Hamilton history, that might be our 3rd OHL team that
Yeah,
we've lost.
yeah.
I think in history
Probably.
we had the Dukes, we had the Steelhawks,
Steelhawks and now
the
Bulldogs.
And I don't know that I blame it on the Hamilton fans. I think we've never had a facility that was built for an
matched.
OHL team.
It didn't match.
No
right?
OHL team currently plays in an 18,000 seat
Sure.
arena. You can close off the top. So, yeah, I was sad to see the team go. Sad to see Michael and Steve Stales go because I think you got probably 2 of the classiest guys in the sport.
Totally agree.
Right? Like Steve is.
And he came and abused council time and time
Yeah.
again, but I always kept it very cool with him.
Lucky for me, Michael had never had the opportunity to abuse me.
Well-
Council. He was gone before.
If he delegates, look out. He doesn't pull any punches.
I don't know that he was. I think he was just being truthful. Right?
Oh, well, I
So-
remember one time, I think it was the Lime Ridge Mall occasion where he was thinking of pumping half the dough to build a rink where Sears now stands. It was only a few years back, and Danko really gave it to him on the floor.
Yeah.
I talked to Michael shortly thereafter, and he goes, all right, just get the freaking rink done downtown. In the first event, I want a boxing match, and I want that guy Danko in the ring. And he kind of meant it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so I don't know if they come back. I mean, with what I think the plan is for OVG and Hoopeg there with Live Nation and the concerts they want to bring in.
Well,
and,
if you're going to triple down or quadruple down on concerts, it's tough to work around those professional sports schedules.
And I think because of what you have down the highway in Toronto and their difficulty with booking around the Leafs and the Raptors, I think it's opportunity for them to attract those big shows here.
stars are aligning, right? Because the big stars, that's where they're making their money now. They're traveling again, right? So arena shows are really picking up.
And they love coming to Hamilton because they can fly into the Hamilton airport and I mean, 10
Right
minutes
up-
after you finish your show, you're already on your jet heading home.
Absolutely.
So it's a sweet gig.
Let's see, what do we have here? Do you think there's an affordability crisis that could go with our environmental crisis, our opioid crisis, our housing crisis? You were in council a few weeks ago, Councillor Spadafora, and you had said something that caught my ear, and a few others. We talked about it. And it was in an argument to this new tax being proposed by Councillor Wilson of Ward 1 on booze. We talked about it on the show last week, booze and smokes and capital gains and some other things. You clearly weren't leaning that way. It did pass, but somewhere in your rant you said we have a spending problem. What did you say? We have a,
Well, I
don't have a-
I can't remember exactly
anyway,
what I
you
said.
in that rant you alluded to maybe it's time to do some internal audits. Were you serious, or was that a part of the 5-minute rant?
No, I was 100% serious, and part of my rant was we seem to be caught in this pattern where we talk about, well, we got priorities and that's it. Well, we can't just take those priorities and run with them when there's other things that dictate sometimes what you can and can't do with what your priorities may be. Affordability is one of them. Taxes. You can bring in as many new taxes as you want. The people that are paying property tax are the same people that are going to pay the other taxes. So if you want to have a beer, but you also own a house, you're going to pay your property tax, and now you're going to pay another tax, a municipal alcohol tax. And again, all this has to be approved by the government, the provincial government, which I think that's going to be a stretch. But I think instead of worrying about generating revenue through taxes, I think we should be worrying about finding efficiencies, is what I said that day.
Okay, right. That was the end.
Yeah, internal audits, merging of departments, hiring freezes. Are these things that are popular? No. But are historic tax increases for everyday residents popular? No. 100, I think, I don't know what we're putting aside, $200 million in reserves we're spending over the next 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those, you know, I don't know how much you want to be. Number one, you can't do that forever. It's
No.
not sustainable.
No, of
Eventually,
course.
you'll run out of reserves, and then you have to charge people huge property tax increases, which, you know, I think we need to be careful because we 100% have an affordability crisis.
Yeah.
100%.
And then you don't have the reserve when you really need it for that emergency that nobody saw coming, right?
Absolutely,
I mean, that's what reserves are technically for.
Emergencies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike, when I built that reserve up to about
Yes.
$300 million in my
And
day,
here's your oars. Thank you.
it wasn't just so Mike Spadafora and his gang now could just
spend it.
willy-nilly,
Willy-nilly.
but 200 million is committed. Wow, it's
think
just
it's
crazy.
$200 million or 180.
And maybe the reason why I got the Donald Trump from Mayor Horvath at the awards the other night was because, you know, I think I made the comment, the first thing she said when that 14 point whatever appeared to start your budget process, your last one, is it's a rainy day, we'll just use the reserves. Well, that's not what you say. You say that at the end of the budget process. That's what they're for, and when you're in a real jam. I find it fascinating, I think others that I've talked to as well, because, you know, we do have an internal auditor, an arm's length guy, Charles Brown,
Brown,
a staff of 7 or 8. And there's no reason why. I mean, every now and again, I think we're actually obligated as a city council and other councils to do these reviews, these financial reviews. So call it an audit, call it a review, but certainly you can catch things. And we've had frozen staff hires before. You know, it is effective. That's good. So you're kind of, you're serious. You might pursue this.
There will be a motion coming forward in the near future
Wow,
that
okay.
will hopefully allow staff the time to look at those things. Again, difficult to say where it's going to go. You might have staff saying, like, this is not something that we can take on. You might need to go outside consultant, which I don't really want to do because then again, that's just more spending.
Yeah.
But there has to be ways that we can become more efficient.
Well, you
Like
just reprioritized
Yeah,
Charles Brown's
we
workload.
hired more people in our first budget run, more city staff, than you did in your last 4 years combined.
Yeah, and that goes back to what you're calling out. You'd said it here tonight, and I think it really needs to be focused on. You come up with your priorities as a council to start your 4-year term. Just because you come up with those priorities, there's still a whole lot of steps you need to take to maybe accommodate half of them. I mean, there's sometimes
Or to keep
other
all the
priorities
rest of the things running, right?
Well, and that's
Yeah.
and
I mean,
that's
it's
a
not
good
just
point.
your
because you
priorities,
call
it's a
it a-
whole
Yeah.
city that
Yeah.
has to keep functioning
Well,
properly.
my priorities were set when I was running my campaign. My priorities were on my pamphlet I handed out.
Yeah.
And that was to keep communities safe, fix parks, fix roads, you know, support the police, and make neighborhoods, you know, for families again. Those were my priorities. So it's hard for me to have council priorities if they don't align with the priorities that I was elected on.
Right.
I wasn't elected on the council priorities that we created as a group.
after
Right.
everyone
So
was
if they don't
elected,
align
Yeah.
with with what my residents thought they were getting, I got to go with what I promised the residents. And I can't always, you know, I promised them to keep taxes low. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
2 years in a row, I failed there.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
but
you didn't necessarily vote
I mean,
in favor.
I voted against the
You
budget
voted
twice,
counter to that.
for sure.
Okay, so real quick, because I got the earpiece, Mike
Yeah,
doesn't,
yeah.
and we're being told
Okay.
to wrap. But
Bring
you
it home.
just alluded to it, so nice segue, Mike. Massive investments going on in 14 right now in roads and parks. Just hit a few, and then is it the 17th, Chief Bergen? You also said you support police, and you're bringing Chief Bergen to a town hall on the 17th. Where's that at?
Town Hall will be at People's Church on the 17th. Yeah, Chief Bergen's coming. A few other members of the senior leadership team of the police will be there. So that'll give, you know, residents a chance to ask the man, right? And, I
Now's
think
the time.
I think the chief's got some challenges, but I think he is the right guy.
Oh, I do too.
For the job.
Yeah,
I get along great with him. I think he's a really good communicator, and I think I'm happy to have him, and I think we're in a little bit better shape than maybe we would be if we had somebody else
Yeah,
at
I
the
agree.
helm.
Hamilton guy too. That's
Yeah.
the thing people don't
Yeah.
realize. And tell you what, go to spadafora.com. Is it?
Mike Spadafora.
What's your site? MikeSpadafora.org.
.com.
.com.
Yeah,
And
Instagram,
you'll
Facebook.
you'll see where the parks are being redeveloped
Yeah.
and the roads. You're putting a
Absolutely.
lot of dough into that.
A lot of those. Scenic Woods, Scenic Parkette, Gilkson Park.
Perfect. Gilkson, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of parks, a lot of baseball diamonds, and a lot of roads.
Okay. Anything in the
awesome.
vicinity of where Mike lives?
I
Probably.
live very close to Gilkson.
Well,
So there you go.
you'll be getting
Yep.
some upgrades to the park and some new roads.
They're taking care of things. Anyway, listen, I appreciate all the time. First, you spend on hockey in this community. It's really important that we stay involved at that community level in hockey.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that. And thanks for doing a great job as my counselor.
Yeah, you're doing
I
a
have
good
no
job.
complaints, and I really had nothing to raise at the table. You're doing good.
I appreciate that. And if that changes, you know where to find me.
I know. Well,
Yeah.
I'm
Call,
bringing
call Jay, and then Jay trying to get all
I'm
of me.
bringing you back on the show.
Oh, we can do that
I'll
too.
facilitate. Yeah, right. Round 2. This is Hammer Down. I'm Jay.
I'm Mike.
And it's brought to you by Fluke, Fluke.ca. Ship with success. Jay and Mike always on time thanks to our sponsor, Fluke Transportation. If your business needs to hammer down on moving product, visit Fluke online today, Fluke.ca. Much like our show, if it's on time, it's a fluke.
It's also good.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's all gold.
That's my
Jerry.
problem.
be
Welcome
quick.
back.
Yes.
It's Hammer Down. I'm Jay.
I'm Mike.
And in seconds, we're going to get moving to our funnest segment of this program.
Yeah,
weekly.
absolutely.
We're going to hammer down on Hammer
We're
Down.
going to hammer down. So why don't we roll?
wanna just get right to it?
Let's get into
All
it.
right.
Man. Let's do it. Here we go.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Put that hammer down.
And I will not hesitate to lay the hammer down on any clown that comes around.
Here's Mike Neighbors.
Oh, I'm going first.
You may as well.
All right. So anyway, toilet. I got a toilet at home. The handle broke. It broke off right on the other side of the tank, right there. And so then the plastic thing, and it floated to the bottom. And so then to flush the toilet, you had to reach into the tank of water every time to pull the stick up to get the flapper to pull up.
Yeah.
So I had to jig up some kind of a way to fix it until I could get to a place to get the proper supplies.
Right. Those places called hardware stores.
Hardware stores.
Right.
But I just don't have time. I'm a busy man, Jay. You know that.
Sure.
So anyway, I needed something large enough that it would sort of sit across the tank, and then I could attach the arm to it, and I could just pull. Well,
This is where the story gets good.
yes, I came across a rubber chicken at home, as everyone probably has a rubber chicken at home. Ours is Mother Clucker, of course, from when I worked at Funny 820. We called her Mother Clucker. She was our mascot.
That's
so
what
anyway,
happened to Mother Clucker.
I brought a video. This is the Mother Clucker toilet flusher.
Oh, my God.
And there you see it there. There I got
Can you say that again? Mother
the Mother Clucker toilet flusher. There you go. And oh yeah, and away it goes. So anyway, I said to my wife, I go, this looks so cool. I think we should just leave it.
I wouldn't rush to the hardware store with the Mother Clucker toilet flusher.
Mother Clucker toilet
I
flusher.
mean, you may want to bring the Mother Clucker toilet flusher to Home Hardware and see if you can get it on the
See if I
shelves.
can start selling some. Maybe, eh?
Okay, we have a number. I think I'll just plug some stuff because
All right.
the Monarch Awards, when our Royal Botanical Gardens came here in your absence, they told me, please, closing in on the Monarch Awards, will you give it a plug? It's June 20th. You can go to monarchawards.org. One of the biggest annual awards shows. Next to, of course, the Impact Awards
well, I was just-
in our
I
vicinity.
was going to ask, are we up for a Monarch this year? Is there a chance should we go to the show just in case?
I'm
they call
surprised
us
we
up?
didn't get the call from this one. Is I'm going to plug the Hamilton Arts Awards are this week, tomorrow night at the Westinghouse headquarters. It was a great venue.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't. Did you?
Nothing?
Maybe you've got the hacker now,
Yeah.
and you missed the
You
text.
know what? That probably is what happened. The invitation.
And of course, the Impact Awards, June 11th, right here on Cable 14.
Yes, the Impact Awards. And spoiler alert, you're going to watch Jay and Mike walk home with a couple of these babies.
All right, I just had to get the plugs in. I would have lost sleep tonight, Mike. Take the rest of my time.
I don't want you to lose some sleep. All right. So, quick. Do we have time for another one?
Sure we do.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought
we got
we were
4:30. I'll give you the key.
I don't know if
Feel
you've
free
seen-
to jump on the show, Travis.
If you've seen Twitter, on Twitter, if you look at the Twitter, apparently there's been a rash of women flashing their boobs at hockey games, at the NHL playoff games.
Okay.
And I keep seeing clips of this. And every time I see a clip of one of these, I think to myself, I got to go to more hockey games. I didn't know this was going on. Did you know this was a thing?
First I've heard of it.
Well, I know.
I don't go on Twitter, though. I'm on this thing called X.
It's also on X.
Okay.
Which
No,
actually
I haven't
makes more
seen it.
sense that it's called X,
I
right?
haven't
And
seen
the-
it. My algorithm is all clean.
It's all,
all kitty cats
Yeah, you're
and
not getting
puppy dogs.
Not getting the dirty pictures
No, I
like
don't
me.
get that
Okay.
stuff.
Well, that might just be me.
So I did not hear that, but I'll be on the lookout.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Hammering down on Hammer Down, and we got some people we want to introduce to you before this program is done. So, from the RBG, Royal Botanical Gardens, to the RBC, have you heard this one? The day after the Canadian Open, they issued an ultimatum to the PGA. And they've said, basically, now the Royal Bank of Canada, they sponsor, of course, the Canadian Open. They've got a bevy of great golfers with their patch on. So they're sponsoring great golfers. They're sponsoring the Heritage Classic.
Which always follows the Masters.
And they have basically said, 24 hours after one of the most successful Canadian Opens right here in Hamilton, get your shit together with LIV or we are pulling out.
Wow.
So they want this LIV deal with PGA that was announced to be formalized, or they're going to lose the PGA. That's one, if not their biggest sponsors.
Because if there was a knock against the Canadian Open this weekend, it was a pretty less than stellar field. We had a few, Rory
It's been
was
worse
there.
though, but yes,
well, we've
you're
had
right.
some bad, but this one was, and it's because there's the Memorial, then there's the U.S. Open, and then there's another signature event. There's 3 weeks in a row that the Schefflers have to play, and so we didn't get we didn't get as good an opportunity to host some of these golfers. And it is our national open. It's a pretty big deal,
100 and
right?
some
So
odd 3 years
I realize the Memorial is Jack Nicklaus's place, but oh my goodness, come on.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. We're out of time for Hammer Down. I just
right.
have a quick question, then you want to bring some people out, and I think it's a great idea. Tomorrow there's an 80% chance that interest rates go down. Finally, after all these years.
Okay.
That's a 20% chance that they won't. 50% chance if it doesn't. If you get the 20% chance tomorrow, that in July it will.
Okay.
So there's less of a chance in July, a greater chance tomorrow. We're only talking about 0.25.
Are you
quarter,
watching a
5
financial
nickels.
forecast or a weather forecast?
I'm just like, it's finally a little bit of good news.
Feels like a weather
People
forecast.
need to know.
All right, come on in here,
Please.
everybody.
The
It
parade.
wasn't just come on. It wasn't just
Parade
Jay
of
and
people.
I.
Oh, there's a winner right here.
Yeah, that was
Hi, what's
another
your name
one.
and what did you win? That was a great dress you had
Yeah,
on there. That sparkly number. What did you win there at the awards along with Mike and Jay?
Yeah.
I'm Lauren, and I won the Kiwanis Educational Grant.
Good
Right.
for you,
And
eh?
that's because
awesome.
of the work she does on this program.
That's right,
Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
Really?
Come on and say hi. Now,
Come
you
on.
know,
Yeah.
come on over to the middle here.
Come
Mike
on over
wants
to the
to talk to
middle.
you.
Yeah.
These are the
Okay.
people that make
What's your name?
Hammer Down happen.
Shy. Are you shy?
No.
Okay,
No,
not
God,
at
no.
all.
Shy's not shy.
Shy's been working on our show. Your name? Zoe's been working on our show. I should really know their
What,
name.
what
I'm
a great
asking-
idea. March them out here. Maybe have a lineup.
I know their name.
Maybe a little card.
I'm letting them say their name. The point was
This
to
is
say.
Lauren. She goes to Westmount. Oh, yeah, see, I remember. He, on the other
I have
hand.
no idea. I don't know.
Thank you for making our
yes,
show
guys.
reality
You know what?
every week.
Yeah.
And
Everybody
Lauren,
gets to take an award
congratulations.
home. There you go.
A well-deserved award.
Thank you so much, Travis,
And
who
here's
does
even
all
more
the
people in the credits.
Travis, who does
that
all the
make
heavy
this
lifting
show
and
happen each and every Wednesday night here on Cable
and he
14
buffs
and
out the
wherever.
awards when we're not around.
You get your fine podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's Hammer Down.